Hi, welcome to the Stereoscope podcast number 14. All right, I'm Byron.
I'm Sean.
I'm Anthony.
All right, so we have so much to cover today because AWE was a few weeks ago, and there was a ton of news around that. There was also Worldwide Developer Conference from Apple, and Google had their I/O, and they announced Android XR, or it elaborated on it. And so there's just a ton to get into this week. But it's some cool stuff. There's a lot of really interesting sort of... the industry seems to be hitting a really mature stride at this point.
Yeah. Despite several reports of VR dying again and again and again.
And again and again.
All these companies who, they're all investing.
Well, it seems like XR is now the thing that everybody's calling it. Like VR is the foundation, but XR is really what I think a lot of these companies are taking seriously now.
It seems to be like more likely to be the next smartphone in terms of like the volume of adoption.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you can wear them.
Agreed.
They're more of an accessory, but we'll also see how they evolve too.
Begun the smart glasses wars have.
Yes, finally, we can proceed with our plans. Also, XR is like the only thing I can hear. Like when I talk about VR, XR, MXR, XR is the thing that people. What's XR? Is it like X? Like is it because Twitter?
Yeah,
I'm like
no.
No.
When you say VR, people just sort of like roll their eyes at this point, which I think is absurd.
But when you say XR, they go.
They're like, yeah, what is that?
XR is new and fresh.
Yeah,
fresh.
Whatever.
We've had VR since the 80s. 60s.
Same great taste.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's funny labeling and marketing and all this. It's the human psychology. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, it's the same old battery acid, right? But
that being said, let's launch into it. All right. So this one, it just dropped a couple days ago. It had sort of been leaked, but this dropped yesterday. And this is that Meta and Microsoft / Xbox have teamed up to make an officially branded Xbox Meta Quest 3S that is it's black. It has Xbox like green coloring to it, and it comes in the box with an Xbox controller and 3 months of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. So this is not a particularly well-kept secret. This leaked like over a year ago, and is pretty much exactly what I expected it to be. However, this is not really new. I've actually used Xbox cloud streaming because this is what this is. It's Xbox cloud streaming, which they used to call xCloud, that you run in either a window or a virtual environment on your Quest 3, and then you play games over the internet using the controller. So these are not VR games.
right in layperson's terms, it's like a monitor that goes directly to
That's exactly what it is. It's a virtual monitor that goes directly to
your
Microsoft servers.
Yeah.
And then with a decent to good amount of latency, you play over the internet.
Like you don't need an Xbox. You got the
You
controller.
don't need an Xbox.
It goes straight to your.
I mean, this is effectively like you're just getting. You could do this on your smartphone. You can do it on like a Logitech G Cloud or Steam Deck. But the thing that I've noticed, I've used this actually. In fact, I've used it quite a bit
on your PC
because it's been available on Quest for over a year. Because the Wi-Fi antennas on the headsets are so good, because for like PC VR streaming and that type of thing, it gets latency really low. Huge caveat here. You have to have a good wireless environment in your home.
Yeah, like a Prism XR or just like a brand new router. You can't have something that
you have to have a good router with
router
with minimum, I would say minimum Wi-Fi 5.
Yeah, or 5.5 or whatever the in between.
Yeah.
Like it's something right before 6.
I would recommend a 6E router because
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. The Wi-Fi 6E is the best price versus performance ratio right now. And Wi-Fi 7 is still not super available yet.
Yeah.
It's still really expensive.
But
But
you can't hotspot.
here's the thing: is that when it works well, it works incredibly well, especially with pass-through, and especially you get like immersive sounds and you get a giant screen. My only thing is that like compression artifacts are definitely a thing. It's going to look worse than if you just played on a real screen.
Yeah.
But it allows you to sort of take your screen anywhere, or if and this is the use case in my home is when the main television is being used, I can be in the same room with my family and be playing games, but still, present.
Yeah. You're there. You're there for them.
Huge caveat there. But I enjoy it. I also use GeForce Now in sort of a similar capacity.
You use GeForce instead of Xbox?
Yeah, so GeForce Now recently officially started supporting Quest devices as well as Apple Vision Pro.
Get out of here.
And GeForce Now has better latency and better video quality. But it's not an all-in thing. Here's the thing, though, is that this is a Quest 3, so...
Quest 3S.
Oh, sorry, this is the Quest 3S, so it doesn't have as good of lenses as the Quest 3. So, like, I find that the Quest 3 is more of a video watching device because it's more clear from edge to edge.
Yeah.
And just generally has better lenses and panels. Yeah. But I don't know. I think this is still pretty decent. It's $400. Comes with for everything that you're getting in the box. I think it's maybe a little overpriced because I mean you can get the Quest 3S is already dropped down to like $280 regularly. I mean it's not a permanent price point.
$280?
Oh yeah. So
in the year
a couple
25
weeks ago there was a sale on Quest 3S for $279.99.
Yeah.
Which is a fantastic price for that device.
But the whole Game Pass thing works on the 3 as well. This is just a special
Yeah,
edition.
yeah. It carries over from whatever device you have.
So it's like, how much is that?
And that's the cool thing about
Xbox
Game Pass is that
you're buying an
you can
Xbox.
use it on any device and your saves carry over, which is
I mean, it's
perfect.
It seems like it's appealing. Like it would be both appealing to really casual gamers and extra serious gamers, but maybe nothing in between.
It really does fit both playstyles because like I'm weirdly both of those things. I used to be a very hardcore gamer, but I don't have the time to game as much as I used to. And so the ability to just like jump between device to device, whatever device is more convenient at that point, it really is fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, for somebody like me, a filthy casual, I don't want to buy an Xbox.
Exactly.
So then
you don't want another
problem solved. It's yet another device I'm probably not going to use, but I am using my headset. So I like
the cool thing is that like, for $15 a month, you can stream, you can play on your PC, you can do all sorts of things, or you can just do PC Game Pass, which is a little bit less. However, PC Game Pass does not. If you have PC Game Pass, you won't be able to use this because it requires Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, which adds the streaming tier to it.
So that's what I was getting at. I'm somewhere in between where I neither have or want a PlayStation or Xbox, don't have a PC, but have a Quest 3. But I don't have an Ultimate Xbox subscription. But I do have an Xbox controller. And what I want is for them to be generous and pass it down so that if you just have the basics
Do you own any like Steam games or anything like that?
Yes, I do. And they're locked away.
Well, they have to be if you use GeForce Now.
That's true, but I would need a PC in order to do that.
No, you wouldn't.
Wait. What?
Yeah, because GeForce Now is pretty much exactly like Xbox Game Pass, like streaming, but for PC games. It's only for select games. So like, about 70% of the games that of games available on Steam are available on GeForce Now, or at least modern games.
Yeah, that's an incremental improvement for me.
Like Half-Life.
few,
All the Half-Life
yeah,
games are on
yeah.
there.
The tops. Yeah.
Star Wars Outlaws.
Yeah.
Most of the Xbox Game Pass games. So I use Xbox Game Pass in conjunction with GeForce Now, and I don't subscribe to the Ultimate because it offers better performance and visual quality and latency. So there's also that alternative. Yeah. Anyways, this is interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sort of a weird thing. I mean, we're getting to this point where like a lot of people are going to be confused by this because they're going to be like, oh, I can play my Xbox games in VR. No, I mean, you can play them in VR. They are not VR games.
Yeah.
They are still in.
Mind you, this gets back into the Deckard thing that we were talking about a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Where like an auto stereoscopic mode would be really interesting. Like if Xbox is able to sort of do that type of thing, they're not going to. It's not part of their strategy. Yeah. But you could do that with Steam. Supposedly, there are rumors. Yeah, I think it's interesting.
Yeah, whatever keeps people buying headsets and keeps moving the industry forward.
Yeah, and
it's another
also,
value add.
It's another value add, exactly. It gives you more stuff to do, and I personally think that more passive entertainment is really important for VR because at the end of the day, I don't like flapping my arms around a lot unless that's something that I'm like explicitly doing. And the immersive element for VR, in some ways lends itself more to a passive experience than being in a virtual world all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Angry Birds.
I mean, that is a very
no more Angry Birds.
Controversial statement. However, there are a lot of people who are just like, yeah, I want to be jacked in. Put me in VR chat all the time. I want every single part of my body represented in 3D, and I'm just like, I don't have the time for that.
And I think that's going to be truer of a larger, like more mainstream.
Absolutely,
audience,
and especially
right?
with. And then the other thing is that there's going to be an audience that grew up with VR that eventually is just like, I just want to watch an immersive movie or play my games immersively.
Yeah.
And especially as the headsets like scale down, we're going to have more options for that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to want to, this is value added matrix, right? Like you want to get away from
Diet
everything.
Matrix.
Diet Matrix. Yeah. Diet Matrix.
When you only want to jack in for 15 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
Crystal Matrix or Matrix Crystal.
Full dive. How about half dive? All right, moving on.